I'm Jane King at the NASDAQ market site. Expedia takes on AirBnB with its latest acquisition.
I'm Patricia Wu at the New York Stock Exchange. Withdrawals of gold from the New York Fed jumped to 20 tons recently. What's going on with gold, and what does that have to do with small caps?
I'm Remy Blair in San Francisco. Two big pharma names may inject convenience into HIV treatment. A revolutionary medicine could replace daily pills. And health-conscious consumers and disruptive tech are changing big food. The latest innovations may leave you hungry for more.
Welcome to Small Cap Nation. I'm Jane King at the NASDAQ market site in Times Square. Expedia agreed to pay $3.9 billion to buy vacation rental site HomeAway. The deal comes about a month after Expedia, whose websites include Hotels.com, Hotwire, and Trivago, closed its $1.3 billion takeover of rival Orbitz worldwide. Now, earlier this year, Expedia spent $280 million to buy smaller U.S. booking site Travelocity. HomeAway, whose brands also include Vrbo.com and VacationRentals.com, makes most of its revenue from charging property owners to list their properties on its sites. Unlike Airbnb, which lets residents rent out their homes for brief stints, HomeAway's listings tend to be managed properties and second homes rented out for most of the year. Well, SodaStream International said its third quarter profits sank 76% and revenue fell below analysts' expectations as the company was hurt by currency headwinds and continues to work through a restructuring. SodaStream, which popularized the notion of making it a home soda, is recasting itself as a sparkling water dispenser after hiring a 2-star Michelin chef to concoct flavors like raspberry lychee rose amid rising competition. The CEO says usage rates will continue to grow as existing and new consumers embrace the repositioning as a healthy water brand. And there are now questions about Avon's ability to survive. The company reported a deep quarterly loss. The door-to-door seller of cosmetics and accessories posted disappointing third quarter results in which revenue slumped 22%, and Avon's ranks of active representatives continue to thin. Now, to make matters worse, it doesn't have a lot of cash on hand. Avon's CEO says they may consider dropping its dividend next year to preserve cash. SAIC Motor, which has manufacturing joint ventures with Volkswagen and General Motors, said it plans to raise as much as $2.4 billion through a private share sale to develop its own brands and new energy vehicles. The Shanghai-based company says it will use the money to develop fuel cell cars and smart driving technology. Well, earnings season is still hitting its stride, and we do have lots of small cap stocks reporting, so here's a rundown. Tronox starts a restructuring after a wider than expected loss. Select Comfort reaffirmed its yearly view. AMN Healthcare revenues range came in above estimates. AVG Technologies earnings trailed estimates. Excelis earnings forecast was below expectations. Bojangles boosted its yearly view. Bruker boosted its view after third quarter beats expectations. Habit Restaurants beat expectations as well. HubSpot boosted its yearly view. Hudson Technologies revenue trailed estimates. Intersect had a bigger loss than expected. Ion Geophysical had a narrower loss than estimated. Lannett says a key customer is moving purchases away from the company. Power Secure's third quarter revenue beat. Sandridge's loss was smaller than expected. Select Comfort reaffirmed its year view. Solar Edge revenue topped estimates, and XPO Logistics turned in a wider loss than expected. Well, you'd think with all the computer hacking and spying going on these days that a company like FireEye would be well positioned, but in fact, sales were down at the cybersecurity company. Investors have overlooked FireEye's losses in the past due to healthy revenue growth. However, that growth has slowed in recent quarters, causing shares to plummet. Today's low sales sent stocks diving 14% for FireEye. AMC can thank the zombies for its solid earnings. It also credits the boost to acquiring a stake in BBC America, which benefited from the likes of Doctor Who. The spin-off Fear the Walking Dead, which ended its first run with strong ratings, had the best first season of any show in cable history. The show helped boost U.S. advertising revenue in the third quarter for AMC. There are some IPOs expected to price today. Kuro Oncology pricing 6.25 million shares at $8 each. Gencyte Biologics pricing 4.6 million shares at $13 to $15. And Xterra Communications is pricing 5.5 million shares at $9 to $11. 276 tons of gold have been withdrawn from the New York Fed since 2014. Patricia Wu is at the New York Stock Exchange with more on this and how it affects small caps.
Hi, Jane. There's certainly been a lot of gold leaving the vault at the New York Fed, which is just up the street from here. 20 tons in September alone. Alan Valdez is here. So, Alan, what is going on with gold?
It's a pretty amazing story. You know, FDR put about 6,000 tons of gold into the New York Fed back in the 40s when he started, confiscating gold and using it in case something happened here to the dollar. But, the dollar's real strong now, real strong. But at the same time, these countries are repatriating all their gold. Germany took 120 tons this year. The Netherlands took 122 tons this year. Austria just this month took 20 tons. Gold now in the vault here in New York, which is the largest vault in the world, is below 6,000 tons, which was the amount that FDR put in the vault.
And what does this all have to do with small caps?
Well, small caps are one of the biggest users of industrial gold, whether it's in material that they put into electronics, or even some small cap companies now are thinking about paying their employees in gold down the road if things get bad, if things get turbulent with the dollar. The dollar's so strong right now, it doesn't look that way. But, they are thinking about minting gold coins to pay some of their little employees. So gold is used heavily in small cap stocks. There's no question about it.
Thanks so much for that, Alan. And Jane, we're going to have an expert on next week who's going to talk some more about that small cap company who is buying up the gold in case they have to pay their employees with it, in case things get rough. So we'll have much more on that next week.
Promising news for Johnson & Johnson and new hope for HIV patients. The story when Small Cap Nation returns.
Guys, I got the jerseys. El Nino. Aquí. Spray Dan.
Oh, yeah.
Don Ovan.
Think that's me?
You guy. It's $40. Can you cover that?
I'll send it to you right now. Done.
Okay, got it. So hat-trick Rick, he's the best player on our team. You get the ball, you give it to him.
Great. Rick.
On your phone, online, on the go, Wells Fargo makes it easy to get banking done.
All right, Don, you're on. Nope, just kidding.
Doug, you've been staring at that for a while, huh? Listen, TD Ameritrade has former floor traders to help walk you through that complex trade, so you'll be confident enough to do what you want. I'll pull up their number. Blammo. Let's get those guys on the horn. Ooh. Looks like it is time to upgrade your phone, Douglas.
For all the confidence you need, TD Ameritrade. You got this.
Let's go, Serena. Fight. Come on, fight. Can't stop me now. Come on, Serena. Can't stop me now. You don't want me. Can't mess with this.
Back to the top. Here we go. 4, 5, 6. Whoa, stop. Let's go back. 1, 2. Whoa, we're gonna stop there. I bet we can do it even better.
It took tennis legend Serena Williams, fencing champion Tim Morehouse, and the world-famous Rockettes years to master their craft. But it took them only moments to master paying bills at Chase.com, depositing checks at Chase ATMs, and transferring funds on the mobile app. Technology designed for you, so you can easily master the way you bank.
The biopharma sector has been in the spotlight this week. We had several merger and partnership announcements, and 2 big pharmaceutical names announced a promising HIV treatment. How revolutionary is it?
Hi, Jane. Johnson & Johnson and ViiV Healthcare announced promising results from its mid-stage study. The clinical trials of 2 combined drugs showed promising results in keeping HIV at bay. The trial studied a combo of Johnson & Johnson's HIV compound and an experimental drug from ViiV Healthcare. A treatment of monthly or bi-monthly injections of the 2 drugs reduced the amount of the virus in an infected body. Now, the treatment worked just as well as the daily 3-pill-a-day combo. The results came came from a clinical trial that was performed as part of a 96-week study. Now, ViiV is a joint venture of some pretty big names, including GlaxoSmithKline, Pfizer, and Japan's Shionogi. The new treatment combines cabotegravir as well as rilpivirine. Now, ViiV Healthcare owns cabotegravir, and rilpivirine is owned by Johnson & Johnson. Many of the HIV medications and treatments can slash the amount of HIV in the blood, but daily pill popping can be difficult for many patients.
And what are some of the challenges despite the promising results?
Well, the treatment is still pretty far from the finish line. According to a press release by Johnson & Johnson, the company says the team hopes to get the injection to market by 2020. That is a 5-year time horizon. Now, in terms of the treatment itself, there are a few things to keep in mind. First off, the drug combo must be preserved in cool temperatures, so that's one constant that would require care and handling versus pills. In the trial, the patients who were injected more frequently at a rate of every 4 weeks versus 8 weeks, pain was reported at the injection site.
What about other players in the space?
The small caps and mega caps are well positioned in this space. Gilead Sciences is a major name, and it boasts a $10 billion HIV treatment franchise, which includes Atripla. It also has Truvado and Viread in its portfolio. Now, sales from its 5 HIV drugs raked in over $10 billion last year. And according to the company, 7 of 10 patients new to HIV treatment are receiving a Gilead product. Also, 6 out of 10 are roughly receiving a Gilead single tablet regimen. So its dominant position is apparent. Meanwhile, over in the small cap space, Sangamo Biosciences is a clinical stage company, and it recently presented data demonstrating sustained functional control of viral load in the absence of any antiretroviral drugs. And that was in 2 of 3 HIV-infected subjects treated in the study of its ZFP therapeutic. Now, it is important to keep in mind the risk. Sangamo is years away from potentially having a commercial product on the market.
Next, we head to Europe to take a look at the markets. Graham Brown has the latest from Paris when Small Cap Nation comes right back.
Good. Very good. You see something moving off the shelves, and your first thought is to investigate the company. You are Type E. Yes, investment opportunities can be anywhere. Or not. But you know the difference.
E-Trade's barcode scanner. Shorten the distance between intuition and action. E-Trade. Opportunity is...
Before they sat down, one more time, just for themselves. Before the last grandchild graced the stage. Before Katie and her husband hit that rough patch. Before Kevin finally came home and the first grandchild arrived. Before the sons-in-law, daughters-in-law, and Brad's brief brush with the law. Before the second British invasion. Before Katie, Debbie, Kevin, and Brad. Before they became a family. There was a connection that started it all and made the future the wonderful thing it turned out to be. We know we're not the center of your life, but we'll do our best to help you connect to what is.
Sometimes the present looked bright, sometimes romantic. There were tears in my eyes, and tears in my eyes. And so many little things that we learned were really the biggest things. Through it all, we saved and had a retirement plan, and someone who listened and helped us along the way. Because we always knew that someday the future would be the present.
Every someday needs a plan. Talk with us about your retirement today.
Graham, how have the European markets been behaving today?
Well, Jane, the markets initially opened down this morning, but then picked up later, with the exception of the UK market, which is still off. The CAC 40 in particular seems to have got a lift, probably from the results of Societe Generale this morning. The focus today, of course, has been on the UK and the Bank of England. They've now come out with really, as expected, no real decision, some information, and 8-1 again against any rate raise. And indications now that with the inflation figures they're quoting, we're moving back into 2016 or even 2017 to get to 2%, and therefore rate rises are probably moving back to late 16. And in the euro area also, core inflation rate increased by 1% in 2015, September, year on year. And Brussels Eurostat have just come out with their estimates for the Eurozone for 2016, and they're looking there at possibly 1.8%, so still below the 2% target. So more to come on that. I quote, October's rise in the Eurozone composite PMI, which we saw, suggests the region's recovery maintained its pace at the start of the fourth quarter, said Jack Allen, European economist at Capital Economics, but the current rates of growth are too slow to put upward pressure on inflation. So inflation seems to be the continuing concern. Or look on the other side, deflation.
Well, Graham, what are you looking at today?
Well, Jane, before we get on to the story, there's a little rhyme. Remember, remember, the 5th of November. Gunpowder, treason and plot. Does that mean anything to you?
No, what is it about?
Well, it's an example of a long-running folk memory. Today all over England there will be fireworks and bonfires tonight with an effigy on top of the bonfires known as the Guy. And it celebrates a failure of an early example, I guess, of weapons of mass destruction.
Weapons of mass destruction?
Yes, Jane. Well, at least according to Tony Blair's definition. On the 5th of November in 1605, a group of plotters placed 36 barrels of gunpowder, that's quite a lot of gunpowder, under the Houses of Parliament, particularly the House of Lords, with the intention of blowing up the Lords and the King and destroying the government effectively. And one Guy Fawkes was left to look after it, and he was subsequently caught and arrested, as were his fellow plotters. So needless to say, he and his fellow plotters died a very unpleasant death. And it continues today to be remembered every 5th of November. Folk memory is an extremely powerful thing. To move on, Jane, today we have a spotlight on a London AIM company that is showing strong growth and may soon move up into the main index. Optimal Payments plc. A significant value growth over the last year, which appears to be continuing, as you can see on this graph. Optimal Payments has a 17-year track record working in the payment business with 16 relationships serving global clients. It claims that there is no more complete set of services under one name. Optimal Payment Services gives companies a frictionless, integrated suite of secure payment solutions delivered from their payments cloud. The suite delivers a large number of components and allows companies competitive advantage in doing business with greater speed, security and agility. This allows what they call on-demand, unbreakable, frictionless commerce, there's a new terminology, through every payment channel, whether mobile, embedded device, computer, card, smartphone or whatever, telephone or in-store. It spans card issuing to payment acquiring and everything between payment gateways, merchant accounts, fraud, risk, compliance, digital wallets, etc. And the rise of GPS-enabled internet-connected smartphones is already starting to turn retail customer interaction and payment experiences upside down. This is where you're walking through the supermarket and it will flash up an offer on an aisle next to you. And so smart companies are already working on this, and this is where this company is leading the way. Although this is a very crowded market in the payments market, Optimal Payments has been in the forefront since '96 and has a large and respected set of global brands already using their business. and we will keep an eye on them. You might remember that we had WorldPay IPO'd a while ago. Payments businesses generally seem to be in favor.
Straight ahead, we are talking innovation and what investors might want to buy. Some of the categories, the basics, food and water. The story when Small Cap Nation comes right back.
Everyone works hard for a reason. Working together, we can help you prepare financially for when 2 becomes 3. Wells Fargo. Together we'll go far.
You want to be the best investor you can be. You want to cut through the noise of an overwhelming amount of analysis. You want the insights that will help you decide which ideas to execute and which to leave behind. You want your trades executed in 1 second or less, guaranteed and routed with institutional quality technology. Look no further. Open an account and find more of the expertise you need to be a better investor.
When I got the phone call that we had received the grant, I held my breath.
To have a program like this is a big reward.
Being a Chase Mission Main Street grant recipient is a game changer.
One of the biggest surprises in starting a small business is the number of hours we should work for the first 20 years.
One of the great things about this grant is that it is going to let us invest in some additional inventories.
It's going to allow this business to go to the next level.
Being a recipient of this grant, we can't be thankful enough.
It's a dream come true, and I'm still in awe.
At first glance, the world's food and technology may seem as compatible as oil and water, but there's a lot more to food than meets the eye. Between agribusiness and the latest and greatest food delivery app, consumers are hungry for more. What trends are we seeing?
Nowadays, it's hard to escape food. Everywhere you look, there's the lure of food. There are ads that whet our appetite, and we're constantly being barraged with information, as well as services that make food prep and cooking much easier. More frequently, we hear about a new app or service that will deliver food to our doorsteps. Now, consumers are also asking lots of questions about food, such as where it comes from, what's inside of it, and how it's produced, and even who's responsible for bringing it to the market. Now, the large cap companies and consumer goods and services, especially in fast food and soft drinks, are bearing the brunt of changing consumer tastes. Farm to table and local are in, while fast food and artificial are out. Now that money is definitely going elsewhere, and the VCs are paying attention. In the first half of this year, over $2 billion went into food startups. The VC firms are ramping up their investments compared to previous years. Last year, the total amount of funds came in at just over $2.3 billion.
What sectors in the food space are heating up and why?
Well, Jane, there's one key word here, and it's innovation. Most of the funding in the VC world is going into food e-commerce and water. Not surprisingly, big data and ag tech are also getting their millions. Among the popular industries within the sector, we have gourmet meal and high-end grocery delivery services, as well as new types of plant-based proteins and aquaponic food production. So when you ask how this translates beyond early-stage companies, it's that there are opportunities to innovate along the food chain, and that means consumers making choices with their dollars for their bodies as well as for the environment.
Players in the big food space are seeing plenty of red. Health and quality are becoming more important to consumers over quick and easy or just another cheap price tag. What does this mean for the up-and-coming food startups and for small caps?
Well, when you look at the consumer goods and services sector, you'll notice that many of the familiar names are mega caps. We're talking multinational players in food and beverage with market caps that are in the billions of dollars. And these major names are feeling the pain and losing market share. So these companies are scooping up the smaller brands that focus on quality products and health. Just to rattle off a few recognizable names, General Mills scooped up Annie's Inc. in a multi-million-dollar deal and has its own internal innovation team, 301 Inc. It has backed Beyond Meat, which makes vegetarian snacks. Separately, Hormel Foods acquired the maker of Natural Deli Meats, Applegate Farms, and Hershey bought Crave Pure Foods, the operation behind natural and nitrate-free beef jerky products. They're both multi-million-dollar deals. Also, with juicing and smoothies all the rage, many may be shocked to learn that Pepsi owns Naked Juice and Coca-Cola owns Odwalla. And Nestle is notorious for its bottled water production. So for successful food ventures that focus on sustainable as well as organic products, an offer in the form of funds or a partnership may be right around the corner. For the mega cap consumer goods and service names, it's all about diversifying, and that's one way to stay on top of trends and not get left behind in the microwave age.
What to buy, sell, or hold? The rundown when Small Cap Nation returns.
Guys, I got the jerseys. El Nino. Aquí. Spray Dan.
Oh, yeah.
Don Ovan.
Think that's me?
You guy. It's $40. Can you cover that?
I'll send it to you right now. Done.
Okay, got it. So hat trick Rick, he's the best player on our team. You get the ball, you give it to him.
Great. Rick.
On your phone, online, on the go, Wells Fargo makes it easy to get banking done.
All right, Don, you're on. Nope, just kidding.
Doug, you've been staring at that for a while, huh? Listen, TD Ameritrade has former floor traders to help walk you through that complex trade, so you'll be confident enough to do what you want. I'll pull up your number. Blammo. Let's get those guys on the horn. Ooh. Looks like it is time to upgrade your phone, Douglas.
For all the confidence you need, TD Ameritrade. You got this.
Let's go, Serena. Fight, fight. Come on, fight.
Can't stop me now.
Come on, Serena.
Can't stop me now. You don't want me. Can't mess with these.
Back to the top. Here we go.
You don't want me.
4, 5, 6. Whoa, stop. Let's go back. 1, 2. Whoa, we're gonna stop there. I bet we can do it even better.
It took tennis legend Serena Williams, fencing champion Tim Morehouse, and the world-famous Rockettes years to master their craft. But it took them only moments to master paying bills at Chase.com, depositing checks at Chase ATMs, and transferring funds on the mobile app. Technology designed for you, so you can easily master the way you bank.
In buy-sell hold action today, American Residential is cut to market perform at Raymond James. ARC Documents cut to market perform at William Blair. Castlight Health was cut to market perform at Leerink. FireEye cut to market perform at FBR Capital. Franklin Covey cut at William Blair. Kindred Healthcare slashed at Wells Fargo. SodaStream was cut to neutral at B. Riley. United Natural Foods cut at Piper Jaffray. And Walker & Dunlop cut to market perform at JMP Securities. Thanks for joining us on Small Cap Nation. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Until then, check back for the latest news and research on smallcapnation.com, Facebook, and Twitter.